Ну там щось точно має бути чутись. Ясно. Ну то слухай мене і напиши просто, чи там щось чути, чи не чути. Давай. Та-та-та. О, чути? Окей. It looks like now it should be fine. Okay. So since now you can hear me, I'm gonna start. Finally. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I'm not a streamer, super duper streamer. So okay, I prepared this model and I think it represents well what I do usually, so it would be easy to go through my workflow when it's sort of done. I mean, it's not completely finished model because there is some stretching around the model while I was posing it, but for the purpose of this stream I think is fine. So first of all, let me make sound little less. So first of all, I will turn off my layers. Yeah. So this was the model I did, and everything here has UVs, and also it was Z-remeshed. So this is my model. This is my model, and all of these polygroups are UV shells. So, I don't know if I cannot. Just let me quickly show you. Here it is. So here's my UVs. UV for the main guy. Yeah. Next, what I do when I have a pose like this, and I have this pose for everything, I'm gonna start exporting my maps. So usually what I no, one more thing for my coloring, I usually just do a rough poly paint with solid colors, and then I use different settings, different maskings with cavity usually, because you know, you can have different results when you have different settings for cavity. Let's say this one is pretty much default what you have. Here is not default. Just wait a second. Here is not default setting, so you can have like super low intensity and you'll have even more different result like this, like really soft cavities. And also, since this recent version of ZBrush has its new feature, which is where it is the plugin. Oh, god damn, I opened an older version of ZBrush. Okay, it doesn't really matter, because I use also ambient occlusion feature to add some colors into shadows, but let's work. So what I take from ZBrush at this stage is normal maps and texture from polypaint. This is my settings for normal map. I usually turn off adaptive because it takes much more time to calculate normal map, but with this turned on you will have more accurate one. Yeah, so let's create map for num. Where's my yellow? Here's my yellow. So we need to wait until maps will export. It should be quick. So yeah, without this adaptive button, normal maps are exporting really fast. And yep, just 1 minute. For this I'm gonna export it just 4K. Yep. And for the spikes I'm gonna export as well 4K. And for this super small skull I'm gonna export just 2K maps. And the reason for that is not just because they are small compared to the other model, but also my high poly have just less than 1 million, so I can easily export it on my second subdivision level and it's gonna look fine. So before exporting, I export it as OBJ 1 by 1 and turn off groups, turn on smooth normals and just hit export. And my spikes, the maximum I have 5 subdivision, and I will export it at 4th. And the reason why I export not the lowest subdivision level, you know, like super low poly model, is because Marmoset can easily handle this much polygons. So I know that if I remember correctly, I had some scenes in Marmoset where I was working with, I don't know, maybe even around 10 millions of polygons, and it was of course in the real time. So for this main body model I will export on my 4th, also on my 4th subdivision level with it's almost 6 million polygons. But what I will do, probably it's not necessary in this case, but usually since I'm using normals. I'm gonna bake on this one, and to save some time I'm gonna decimate it on my 4th level, and I will decimate it up to 1 million. And I will keep UVs and pre-process current. It's gonna take some time. Wait for a second. Wait. So sometimes I just export a model on my highest subdivision level. Like if I have 5 subdivisions, I export it on 4th level without decimation, just as is. But since I have stream and to show results with render, I'm gonna decimate this model to save time, and I will explain when we go to Marmoset. Okay, so we can decimate it. Boom. Yeah, we have just 1 million, which is pretty okay. Yes, I do all my renders in Marmoset for last 3 years, I guess. And the main reason for Marmoset, for me to use Marmoset, is real time. You know, I'm gonna show even now without. We're gonna skip the substance step for a moment. I'm just gonna import. So to export, all we're gonna do is just drag and drop. Boom. Now we have it. Now I will create 4 materials because I have 4 meshes. So this will go for body, this will go for spikes, this one for sickles, and this one for head. And now I'm gonna place normals, so you can already see what normals do, and also albedo. Boom, we have it. Spikes, sickles, right? Oops, not this. Yes. Okay, here we have it. Then I lowering the overall brightness from HDR, and I like using some greenish HDRs. So you have different here. Let's say this one. Then after that, right after that, I will add shadow catcher. And also here in the sky, by just touching the left, clicking left mouse button, you can add light, skylight, which is gonna copy the color and the brightness. But what will it do? It will add shadows from the light, because when you don't have it, you don't have like harsh shadows from just HDR, right? So you need to add some light, and since rarely I use just one light, one directional light, with some really like some small little tweaks, like I increase diameter to soften the shadows, so this will control, and the brightness, you know what brightness is, and of course I'm gonna change some colors as well. So by the way, the shadow catcher, you see with shadow catcher turned on, you can check here on this area with and without him what the shadow looks like. So you see they are pretty soft without. So for this case, for this exact case, it could be fine, since this guy is some sort of jumping, I don't know. But usually I have this shadow catcher. Yes, this is Marmoset. And what next? So I see that I don't have enough light here on the front, and the same with the back. So I'm gonna change my directional light into omni light, and decrease brightness. To see it better, just decrease brightness from HDRI by control D. I'm gonna duplicate this light. I'm gonna send it here, and also increase diameter, because I don't want this harsh shadows from these spikes. And Maybe I will change color a bit. I don't play, usually I don't play this with, you know, with this rule of 3 lights, if you know this, like cold shadows or cold light on the background, etc. I just do how I like it, and that's it. So I don't follow any rules with my stuff. Control D. So usually I have 4 lights, like here, you know. So for me it's more than enough, but I see that maybe I will, and one of that 4 lights is a bit brighter than the rest of them, so you can still see that it has like one source light and some supportive lights. And okay. Okay, here we have it. And then usually use, almost always, I'm using substance specifically for making a roughness map, because I can control the roughness in different areas through substance. So, and that's as I said, that's the only reason I use it. Also, I like to use volumetric scattering. It's a new feature of this Marmoset 4, because in Marmoset 3 there was only subsurface scattering, and here you have volumetric scattering, and I like it well. So you can already see how it looks, but it looks like that only if you don't use ray tracing mode. So let's look closer, and without this. So here how your material looks without ray tracing, and here how it's gonna look with ray tracing. So you can see the different straight. Boom, you have it. Yeah, so I'm sorry, you know, it taking some memory, so I'm not gonna use it often. Yeah, so I won't use ray tracing mode for now. I'm just gonna use it for the later, because it's gonna take some memory, so I don't want my stream to glitch. Yeah, so here is this one, and you can use also ambient occlusion feature with without ray tracing. So with ray tracing turned on, the ambient occlusion feature will not work, and with turned off you can use it. So I like to add you know, some colors to occlusion, so it's not just black but some colors as well. So you can see already that it is adding some interesting colors to this guy, and for now I don't even know, but I'm gonna keep this one. So you can use on specular, you can see, and you can use it on diffuse. You can increase the size, decrease the strength, and boom, you will have some pinkish color in your shadow areas. When I have this set up, I'm gonna play with some camera settings. I hope you can see it well. So first of all, I'm saving frames, so I know the ratio of my final image, and usually I decrease the field of view to 30, so it's gonna have less distortion. I'm using depth of field with sticky focus. By clicking middle mouse button anywhere, you will find a point of view, you know, so like here you have it. And this depth of field feature works well, like really well with ray tracing mode. Like it works. I really love how it works. Okay, I'm gonna make this less strong. I don't use flare. I use distortion from time to time, so it just, you know, just usual chromatic aberration, just really small amount, so you can barely see it. Yeah, like this. Then what I do next, I'm changing tone mapping from linear to high G, so it looks more contrasty, and I will increase exposure and decrease contrast a little bit, maybe some sharpen, but not too much, because you'll have like really ugly edges. Like you see, this is like super sharp, and I usually keep less sharp. Sometimes I use bloom, but again not often and not much, and I use it just because I hate flat background, like really flat, and this bloom feature adds some coloring around the model. So if I make it stronger, so you will see it had some glowy effect around the model, but not too much. And we can decrease the size so you will see it better, like this. Some vignette, maybe. And again, like opposite colors. So I trying to have like opposite colors on with my background and with my character. So I think I need to increase brightness here a little bit. Next, my render image, I do it as JPEG, and the resolution is usually 3-4,000 on bigger side, longer, wider. You got me. For this one it's fine, like this. And basically pretty much also sometimes I use fog feature, but I use linear fog, but again not really often, and I use it when I like to have some sort of god rays from point light. But one issue with fog is that you need to replace this shadow catcher with some mesh and opacity, since fog is gonna be around, so this shadow catcher is gonna be visible when you have your fog turned on. So if I'm using fog feature, I will replace this shadow catcher with some, let's say with plane. I'm gonna already create UV, planar UV, rotate and scale it to fit the model, and export. Export it here, and I can already turn off shadow catcher, and to here it's like super simple because I can use, let's say, this alpha, and I'm gonna just export it, and here I will create new material, add it here, name transparency mode. I gonna add this alpha, and our channel, so boom, you can see that it already transparent. So you can scale it up right here. You can change color, and you'll have the shadows like this, and you will have a fog. And you can see probably if I turn I want to here you can see what effect you're gonna have when you have your fog. Here you can see some rays behind the model, you know, and I like this effect. Okay, so what else? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Because generally that is it. So that's my like super simple workflow. Probably for this guy, so he looks not that empty on this here. I will add maybe some base, some random base for him, and that's it. So to render this image, I want to add some blur. I almost never use Photoshop. I use Photoshop when I want to change colors for my map, albedo, you know, and just for that. And again, it just because sometimes I want to have some different colorings, but again, it's super simple because I have some actions which gives me different results with colors, and thematic movie movie actions. So, and sometimes I like to use them, but mostly I'm not, because so for this case, let's say I like this, I'm gonna just save it and change it here, and that's it. I don't use Photoshop for anything else. So for just for this, by the way, I like these colors more, and I like how it work with this pinkish ambient occlusion. So here I'm gonna add some roughness and also some metallic, but you know, for the roughness and metallic, again I'm gonna use Substance Painter, because you know, here I want to have some differentiation on roughness. So we will open Substance in a few seconds. Not that much. So here is let me set up my export window. So here is like the most important reason for me why I'm using Marmoset, because this is what I can see on my screen right now, and right after I press F11, which is render image, this is start rendering. Usually it takes less time, sometimes takes more time, but pretty much what you can see in the progress, it's average. And boom, here is the resulted image, which is no different than what I see here. So I see finished image already here, and I can again in the camera settings I can also play with some curves, so you can do some tweaking already here, you know. Which is, I don't know, just here. So I don't need to use anything, any other software basically to have my final image. And for now I'm just gonna turn on ray tracing mode, so you can see how it looks with ray tracing. Yeah, here is ray tracing mode, and again I can already see the final image here on my monitor, so it won't be different than this, which I really like in Marmoset. And compared to other software, it works really fast. So yeah, when I had scenes with like 10 million polygons, it worked. The renders final images took maybe like 15-20 minutes, but still it not that much. So usually characters like this, they are not taking that much time. Yeah, so and let's try again. How long is it gonna render this image? It's taking some time now because I have too many different software here. Well, Amilcar, I'm using it. Well, actually, if I do some boom, here you have it. So actually it took not that much time, and here is difference. Yes, of course you can see that the I did some tweaking with curves, but generally here is the ray tracing turned off, and that's how it looks, and here is turned on, so it's much softer, this volumetric stuff, and also the blur here on the background is pretty much the same, but I think it's more accurate with ray tracing. Yes, you can use image as a background, and also you can export different passes, so you can export this. And ID maps. So you can export different passes and play with them. And about background image here, let me switch to not red thread. In the sky menu you can add you can import some image. No, maybe this one, but this will not work as a like really background image, because sky, so because the image you will import as HDRI. Of course you can add you know, like this let's say none. Like backplate image. So in this case you will have it, you know, but you cannot import like super sharp image here, as far as I know. But for me it's fine, you know. Oh, Control C doesn't work. No, I like how it looks. Yeah. So generally, it works more like in ZBrush, I think, because in ZBrush you will have the same thing with the background image when you're rendering, and the same when you can have like the image on the plane. Yeah, so here is the image, by the way. So actually it works. You can also change this. You have some presets for here, and you can create create materials here as well in this latest version, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm gonna in general it works pretty much the same as in Substance Painter, but as I said, I haven't touched this part of Marmoset yet because it's a new feature on this like latest version of Marmoset, and I haven't tried it yet. But yeah, it works here. So let's jump to Substance. And again, I'm not gonna use something really complicated. Amilcar, after I learned this feature, because it looks like it is pretty easy to learn, I will use it as well, because I'm not a big fan of switching between different softwares. So once I learned that part, I'm gonna stick with Marmoset to create everything I need. So I'm gonna import two maps, this like color and normal, and I'm gonna bake. I won't bake in 8K because I'm okay for now. For the just showing purposes, I'm gonna stick with 4K, but usually I export. I usually export my maps in 4K, 8K resolution, but for now I don't need them. And in curvature I use from normal and super small, because I will show you later why. And no ID and no normal. So all my maps is gonna be baked not from high poly mesh, but from my normal map. Should be quick now. Boom, here we have it. So everything is super shiny and I don't want that. So like for the simplest showcase, I'm gonna use just one specific material, and it is bone stylized. It basically have two layers. One is a base layer and one is a dirt layer, and dirt layer is generated from ambient occlusion. And so when we look at roughness, it's gonna look like this. But I don't want that, so I'm gonna clear mask and I'm gonna add my curvature map, and I'm gonna invert and change some levels. Yeah, so it's gonna make all my bumps pretty shiny, which is gonna show them better. And that's why I use like pretty low details for curvature, because by that it can catch all of this stuff here. Yeah, so I don't know if I want to change something with texture, but just in case. Here how it looks. You can see, so all my bumps are visible here, and I like this effect specifically with this material. Sometimes when I feel that I don't have enough like super small detail, I will add some layer with some like this one, let's say frog skin, and super small scales with 3 planar projection, and there will be no color, no metal, no roughness, no height, just normal. And it will generate me this kind of super small bumps all over the model, which is also like pretty nice. Or with the height. And I will use this map after I export it. I will use this map. Let me show you. So let's say here is like I'm happy with it. So I will export textures. I don't need base color, metallic, I need roughness. I don't need normal, I need height, I don't need AO, I need normal OpenGL. Global settings here, and export. Okay, now we have our, so again, so you can see it, here is my roughness up, and you can see the shiny bumps and not shiny shadowy areas. And here in the normal stub you can add detailed normals, and I will add this new generated normal here. Here you can see this super small details, and I'm just gonna make them barely visible like this. So, and yeah, for close-ups it looks pretty nice, since, and if I don't have mood for playing like this details, normals. I can just Google some stylable normals. It doesn't matter which normal. It could be like even some ground normal map. Let me find something. So I just googled some tiled normal maps. Привет, Виталик. So I will add another here, just random Google normal. I will increase tiling and increase the weight, and here you can see another result for this. So here you can easily see how it looks, and again it adds some details, some nice details, and it doesn't take you time at all. So here is another like grungy bump, and again you can turn it up like this. So you have this. What else? Generally, I don't know what else to add, because I think I showed you everything I do in Marmoset for my renders. So yes, for my I don't know, I will not call it tutorial, because it's not tutorial. It just I showed my way of rendering things. And yes, I'm gonna save this stream, and it will be available for here on this channel, so you can subscribe my channel and you'll be able to watch it again. One more thing. Wait, what did I want to say? Since I'm not looking for like super realistic renders, this approach work for me well. So if you want to have like really realistic result, You need to play more with, let's say, with scatter maps, with roughness, with metallic, and that kind of stuff. But usually my weirdos are just weirdos, and I don't really need such things. So yep, it works for me, and I hope it helped you to whoever watched it, and thank you. And for now, bye bye. If you have any questions, any additional questions, please let me know. So yeah, thank you and bye bye. Have a nice day. Віталік, я зробив цей стрім, тому що багато питали людей про, ну, типу, про мій workflow, то я от зробив відео. А так, в принципі, та я не знаю. Наразі, ну, я в принципі не планував якось дуже часто стрімити. Але, ну, щось час від часу буде. От. Наразі все. Дякую.